Thank you for joining us today for another edition of Info Nuggets with Amy. I'm your host, Amy, the Assistant Branch Manager of the Main Library in St. Augustine, Florida. I have a very special guest with me today, Beth.
Hi.
Beth is our Adult Programming Coordinator here at the Main Library. We were recently asked by SCORE, the Small Business Mentor Program, to do a virtual presentation for them on business resources available at the library. And we thought, we should probably just go ahead and record this for our own regular library patrons. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at some of the resources that are available to you for free with your library card to help your business grow. So the first thing we'll take a look at are different services that you may not be aware that the library has to offer. We'll also look at traditional print resources, but then we'll also spend some time on various databases and electronic resources. During a recent presentation, a lot of attendees were pretty surprised that they could do a lot of their research from home on their own computers whenever they wanted to. So we will show you briefly how each of these are used, but we'll also refer you to sources if you want to learn more about some of those different resources that we have. So first of all, for services beyond regular books, we do also have computer access. There is absolutely no charge for you to use the computers. We also have document scanners that you can use, and if you need help using them, we have staff who can help you out. There's no charge to use those. We do also have Wi-Fi access, no charge for that. And we do have copy machine capabilities. It's 20 cents a page for black and white, 50 cents a page for color. We do also have fax services. It's a $4 flat fee, unlimited pages. This is good if you have like 3 or more pages, but if you only have 1 page, not a great deal. But if you have a document that's like 30 pages, this is the best deal you will find in town. And we do also have a notary service. It's $5 per signature, and there are some things that our notaries are not able to notarize, so definitely call your branch in advance, first of all, to make sure that the notary is in that day, and to make sure that this is a document that they might be able to go ahead and actually notarize. So let's go ahead and look at some of those traditional print resources very briefly, the ones that you think of when you think of a library. We're going to do this by looking at different Dewey Decimal areas, because once you know which is your Dewey Decimal area that you're looking for, you'll always be able to find it in whatever library you go into. So the first one that you all should probably know for your small businesses is Area 346, which is private law, and specifically I want to point out the NOLO titles. They're a publisher that is well known for all of their legal titles that they've published, and they do have quite a few books that concentrate on small businesses, or even earlier than, before you decide if you're a small business, if you need to choose between a limited liability company or a partnership, any kind of things that you need legally regarding your business or your potential business, you'll usually be able to find in these NOLO books. Also nice are they have some blank template sheets in the back of each of the books, and you can make copies out of there for some legal form uses. Another area to know about is the 658s. This is general management. So these are going to be the types of books for maybe dealing with your employees, or how to market your business, or how to write business plans, anything that has to do with general management you will find in 658s. Another thing to keep in mind about the Dewey Decimal System, which I think is pretty fantastic, is that it's the same number regardless of format. So if you're looking for information on general management, maybe you want to listen to it on our books and CDs. If you go into the book on CD area and look at the 658s, it's going to be the same number, general management. Same for the 340 section that we just looked at with the legal items. Although we don't have too many legal books on CD, you would still just go to that number automatically. And that makes it pretty easy. Once you figure out, what your area is, then you can just go directly to it. Now, another area to know about is the 650.1 area. This is personal success in business. So this is about how to make yourself a better small business owner, better business person, how to increase your skills in any sort of workplace scenarios. And that is opposed to the next area, the 158s, which is personal improvement. This is more about the types of books you'll find here, like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where it's more about just being a better person, a more organized person, not necessarily related to work. And that's pretty much what the difference is between those. It was $6.50 and the $158, $6.58, and $3.46. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the databases that you can access from home on your own computer. And databases have different meanings for different people, but for this purpose, we're just going to say it's free access to premium online resources with your library card. This is stuff that normally has a paywall, where if you don't have an account with them, you don't get access to it. But now with your library card, you can. So one of my favorite databases is Reference Solutions, formerly known as Reference USA. And let me show you how to go ahead and access that. You're going to start off here at sjcpls.org, hover over eLibrary, and then come over here to Databases. Once you click on that, you're going to get a full list of all of our databases, and we have quite a few. So we'll just go straight down to the bottom and look for the R section, which is Reference Solutions, formerly known as Reference USA. I do want to point out that we have a link in the description for a far more thorough tutorial than what I'm about to show you. So if this is something you're interested in, come back and watch the tutorial later. But for now, let me just give you a quick look at one of the things Reference Solutions can do for you. After clicking on the link, you might be asked to type in your library card number. Just type it in, no spaces. And this particular database, if you think of it as a giant phone book that has a lot more fields than you would probably ever need to know about, but it's something that you can do very specific searches with. So for this scenario, let's pretend that you are a business who has recently opened up somewhere in the downtown area of St. Augustine, and you're having a grand opening, and you want to invite all of your new neighbors to come and see, you know, what products you have and who you are, and just like a meet and greet with everyone in your neighborhood. We can go ahead and create a direct mail list of everyone who lives within a very specific defined area, or any business who's in a very specific defined area. So let's click here on US businesses, and it will bring us to a general regular search page where you could search by a company name or an executive name, but we want something far more detailed than this. It's kind of like a backward search where we don't know who we're looking for, and we want to define the parameters so we can find out which businesses or people fit those parameters. So I'm going to click here on Advanced Search, and it will just take a moment. And I don't want to invite everyone necessarily in the downtown area, maybe a 2 or 3 block radius of where my business is going to be located. So since that's such a specific area, we're going to go ahead and do a map-based search. So we'll click here and then click where it says Open Map, excuse me. And at first, it's going to come up with a map of the entire United States, which is far too much. You don't have enough money to pay postage for that direct mail. So we're going to type in our zip code 32084 and click on Go, and it will bring us a little closer. So now we can go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on the downtown area in St. Augustine. And let's say that your new business is going to be somewhere near Spanish and Hippolyta Street. So let's click here where it says Draw Shape, and then we'll click there, 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 and there. I'm clicking each time I go to a corner, and on the very last corner right here, we're going to do a double click. And you'll see that it took because it defined it and called it shape number 1. Now I'm going to click on Done. And this is giving us 88 different records. When I click on View Results, I automatically get the names of the companies, or if there was people who are residents there, it'll have their names, their address, and even contact or phone number if it's available. One thing to note is that if people have cell phones, that is far more difficult to get, so you might not be getting too many cell phones at this point, but I know that this is something the company is actively working on. The really cool thing is I can click here on the list, where it says check all, and then click on download, and I can automatically download all of those contact information in Excel format. So if you have like mail merge on your computer, and if not, you can use one of the computers here at the library, where you're able to go ahead and generate a list that you can print out on labels, and then go ahead and just slap them on a postcard and invite people to your event. And that's just one of the really cool things that you can do with reference solutions. There's a lot more complex searches that will let you find very specific types of businesses and people. But now let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the Gale Legal Form database, and Miss Beth is going to jump in for that one as soon as I get the screen set up for her.
All right, so we are going to look at Gale Legal Forms, and again we're going to hover over that eLibrary and click on databases and scroll down to Gale, and we have a lot of Gale databases here. So we're just looking for Gale Legal Forms, and here it is. And before I click on this, I just want to point out that we do have another one of those pre-recorded videos that will give you a lot more detail about how to use the Gale Legal Forms database. But let's go ahead and do a quick overview right now. I'm going to click on that. And while it's pulling it up, this database is great if you are looking for any kind of legal forms. So anything from probate packets, if you're dealing with an estate. For small business owners, you might use this for contracts. So I'm just going to point out, if you know the name of the legal form that you want to use, you can just search it right here. Just type in the name. But there's also different categories on the left and in the center. So if you just scroll down, I'm going to browse the main categories, and there's one that's actually called small business. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring up some more categories within that small business category, some subcategories. There's also, so there's angel investors. Oops, we don't need that right now. Angel investors, there's worksheets. Say you're looking for contracts though. I'm just going to click on this service contracts, and it's going to give me a bunch of different options. So some are very specific, but say I'm just looking for something very general. So I'm going to click on this, and it will give you a description right here of what this contract actually is. And if I click on preview, I can see what the contract is. And this looks like something I could use. Well, you can download a copy in Microsoft Word or a rich text format, or the coolest thing is you can actually fill it out here. If you just click on this little button and you fill in all of this information, and then as you scroll down you would hit next, it'll auto generate that form for you so that you can print out a form that will look like this with all of your information already filled in. So this is just a great way that you can get legal forms, and it's free with your library. So I'm going to hand this back over to Amy, who's going to talk about
Demographics Now.
Demographics Now.
So Demographics Now is one of my favorite resources when you're doing something like a business plan, where you're still trying to figure out who your audience is, and when you have to submit this paperwork in order to maybe finance your company, to kind of show them who it is that you're going to be catering to. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off again back at this main database screen, and we're going to scroll down to Demographics Now. Again, they are in alphabetical order. We'll click right on here, and we'll give it a moment. Now the first thing that we want to do when we come here is define what they call their geo filter. So we're going to say exactly where it is that we want to focus our search. And you could type in an address or a zip code, but now that we've seen how the map works over on Reference Solutions, the map for Gale Business works pretty much the same. So I'm going to click here on Options and then go to Create Locations. I'm going to click this down arrow where I can click on a map, and I'll make that selection. And with this one, I think you just have to kind of zoom into the area that you want. So let's say we're looking for something maybe up in Nocatee, which is a up-and-coming area. I'm just going to click right here on the map in the Nocatee area, and I am going to name it up here, Nocatee. Let me see if I can slide this down any further. And it automatically defaults to a range of 1, 3, and 5 miles. You could change that to something far more specific if you wanted, like half a mile, 1 mile, and maybe 2 miles. So you're going to get different numbers depending on how far out you go from a particular location. In fact, you know what? Let me move this a little closer, like right there, down in that area. And let's go back and revert it to maybe 1, 3, and 5. And let's go ahead and click on, okay, we named it. We're going to add the point. And now we can click on OK. So we've set a very specific area. We're not doing an entire zip code. We're just saying we want 5 miles at the max surrounding that area that we designated on the map. Now that we have our geo filter set, we can go over to some of the really cool reports that are available for free with your library card. I'm going to click right here in demographics and jump straight to my very favorite one that we have on here. It is what's known as the, let's see here, the Mosaic Cluster Comparison Report, or maybe it's the, let's try this first one right here, Mosaic Comparison Report. This particular report is filled with information derived from Experian. Yes, the credit reporting agency. If you've ever wondered what kind of information that they collect on you and what gets done with it, I'm going to show you exactly what gets done with it. This is not information that is tied to a specific name. Instead, they generate information about the type of people, how they're spending money within a particular area. And what they do for the Mosaic reports is they sort of group people by different types, and this will help them figure out the majority of types of people who are living within a particular segment. So for instance, within that 5 mile range that we selected of Nocatee versus 3 miles versus 1 mile, you'll see percentage numbers next to some of the categories that they've created. So we have quite a few here in the fast track couple area. And let's see here. Yeah, I think that one's the largest segment. Yeah, there's not many of any other ones. The largest segment for that area. So when we click right here on fast track couples, up will come a report that gives us a very broad look at the type of people who are living within that area. So it will tell you key features about them. They're credit aware, comfortable spenders, active lifestyles, tech savvy, they like music and football. Average house, or the head of household age on average is between 31 and 35. They have a single property or single family home. Household income is about 100,000 to 125,000. Home owners, not renters, and the general age of children. It tells you their channel preference. How do they prefer to receive some of their advertising? 208 TV. We have mail. This would be direct mail that they get in the mailbox, maybe just by chats. I think is Twitter. This one's Instagram. Actually, I think that one's no, that one's Facebook. So it kind of gives you an idea of where they're getting a lot of their information from. And as we scroll down further, we get some more demographic information. And my favorite part is this very last page, where they sort of make a kind of a couple up, and they kind of describe who these people might be. So fast track couples consist of young couples and families already on the road to upward mobility. Some of the information we've already seen, but also it tells you what they like to do. They enjoy athletic activities, and it's hard to find a sport like baseball, soccer, or football that they don't play. They like local gyms. They tend to be night owls who enjoy nightlife activities, comedy clubs, bars, rock concerts, and it lets you know what they're interested in. And this is something that's very useful when you're trying to create advertising that are geared towards a specific market. This tells you a lot of information about who your potential users may be or potential customers might be. And this is great information to include on your business plan. We have a whole bunch of other types of reports that you can download, not just something like this. You could have a general basic demographic comparison chart. Let's take a look there, which is what you would expect, like census data sort of information. What's also nice is that some of the reports will give you a 5-year projection on what is projected to be changing within a particular area. Also very useful, not just for a business plan, but once you have your business up and running, to kind of plan for what's coming next. So that is demographics now, and we are now going to pass this over to Beth, and she's going to tell us about the Pronunciator resource, which is a super cool resource that we offer, not just on your computer, but also as an app. So here you go, Beth.
Thank you. Pronunciator is such a fun database. So again, you would be on that eLibrary tab and scroll down in alphabetical order looking for Pronunciator. Almost there. There it is. Okay. And there is a tutorial video also right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Pronunciator though, and just want to point out you are able to sign on quickly with just your library card for instant access, but I do recommend registering because then it saves your progress. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign myself in. Oops, wrong email address. Click login, and I'm going to launch Pronunciator. Okay, so when you get to this page, Pronunciator has more than 80 languages that you can learn, and we also have, I believe, more than 50 English as a second language languages so that you can learn English. So you can select I speak English, or if you speak another language, perhaps you have employees who speak another language and this might be a good resource for them. So then over here you choose which language you want to learn. There's all kinds of languages. You can see Spanish up here. This is the Spanish as in Spain, Castilian Spanish. If you scroll down, there's actually also Latin American Spanish or Mexican Spanish. So there's things that you might want to, you can see there's an Irish English, a Canadian English, an India English. There's all kinds of different options here. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Latin American Spanish. And it's going to pull up a page that has some daily lessons, personalized courses, a main course, and learning guides and more. There's all kinds of different resources under each of these tabs. But for today, let's go ahead and focus on this personalized course because as a business owner, this can be very handy. I'm going to go ahead and click on Create a Personalized Course. And I'm going to select my occupation. So perhaps I have clients that speak another language and I'm trying to learn so I can assist my clients, or perhaps again you have employees, maybe you're going to be traveling for your work. So this can be a very good tool because it can teach you specific vocabulary words specific to your vocation. I'm going to choose, I'm going to choose landscaper, for instance. And then I'll click next up here. I'm going to choose my age group and how many weeks do I want the course to last. I think I want it to go on for quite a while, so I'm gonna pull that up to 36 weeks that I'm gonna commit to. Oh, and then I also need to choose what my skill level is, and I'm gonna say beginner, and then click next. And it's going to ask me how many new phrases I want to be introduced to every single day. I think I can handle 8 a day. If I prefer more drills or quizzes, I'm just going to leave it there in the center because I think probably both. You have the option to either use a microphone in a webcam or not. I'm going to leave it on. I do think it's helpful because particularly the sound components, you can receive corrections on your own pronunciation, so that can be very helpful when you're trying to learn a language. And then finally, you're going to be asked what your learning goals are. I'm going to say I definitely so 1 is the most important, 4 is the least important. Speaking is most important to me, as is understanding. At this point, reading and writing are probably not quite as important. I don't need to receive a daily email, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to say Landscaper Course. And then I click Build Course. And it's going to bring me back to that page that we started at, where you were given the option of all the different topics. Okay, so now we are back to this page, and I'm going to scroll back down to that personalized course and click it. And instead of hitting create this time, I've got my personalized course right here. So I'll go ahead and click on that. So it will bring me to this page where there's all these different options where you can listen, watch videos, have your pronunciation analyzed. There's flashcards, listening comprehension. There's so many different options here. There's drills, there's audio. It's a lot of fun, and you're able to export this as a PDF so that you can keep it on your computer. But as Amy mentioned, this is also an app that you can put on your phone, and particularly when you're traveling or you're out in the field, if you just whip out your phone, you can maybe try to figure out how to pronounce something, what somebody's saying. You can get help with your language. So this is a really fun course. I'm going to go back to this page, and I'm going to go back again to the home page. And something that's fun when you first sign into Pronunciator is it always tells you the last time you were here, you were studying, and it'll show you right at the top, here's that landscaper course. So you can just resume where you were from there. It'll take you right back to where you were last. So again, this is a very fun database that I think that you can enjoy as a business person or just as a lay person. But now I'm going to go ahead and hand the reins back to Amy, who's going to talk about some more Gale databases.
Thank you, Beth. So Gale is a provider of different databases. They also publish print books as well, and we have quite a few that are available to you, and we're not going to take a look at all of them, because with these, once you know how to use one, the format is pretty much the same in all of the other ones. So we're only going to take a look at one of these. But the ones to be aware of, there's Gale Business Insights Essentials, Gale One File for Business, Gale One File for Entrepreneurship, Gale Business Entrepreneurship, Industry-specific databases such as agriculture, computer science, environmental studies and policy, fine arts, health and medicine, home improvement, hospitality and tourism, and one of my personal favorites, the Gale Power Search, which kind of searches everything all at once, so you don't have to go to each individual one. So let's go ahead and take a look at how those different databases work. So let's go ahead and take a look at the one that was for specific to the tourism field, because that is definitely something that hospitality and tourism. So I'm going to click right here on the database title. We'll wait a moment and it will bring us to a basic search. Again, with all of the other databases for Gale, they're going to look something like this. So let's go ahead and take a look at, we'll just be very broad. Let's go ahead and type in restaurant. And we have a couple of suggestions that are popping up underneath. We're just going to pick that first one for restaurant and do a search there. And we have a lot of results that are popping up. We've got 312,000 results, magazine articles, 5,000 academic journals, 6,000 book resources. And books in this context means books that they have digitized, sometimes sections of books that they have digitized and uploaded to this collection, 185,000 news articles, over 500 images and 70 videos. That's a lot of stuff. But in the hospitality and tourism industry, not just relevancy, but timeliness of the article matters, especially in this age of COVID, where you're going to want the most recent information on restaurants, not something from like a year and a half or even 2 years ago. So I'm going to click here on sort and then click on newest, and we will have a list of different articles related to restaurants in the hospitality business. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and take a look at something like this. We have an Indian origin chef who was named London's Best Indian Chef of 2021. This comes from the magazine Hospitality Biz. It was published 2 days ago. This is how recent it is. Very brief article, and it just gives us a little information about somebody who won an award recently. What's also really cool about this is that the resource is linkable, meaning you can click on this link and you can go see what other articles might have appeared in different issues. So let's go ahead and click on yesterday, September 15th, and see exactly what we have. So far we just have 4 articles. Sometimes it takes a few days for them to fully generate. So let's jump back like in August. That one's only about 2 articles, but you'll see you can go directly to a particular resource and see exactly what came out on that day. If you just wanted to browse, if you find a particular resource that you really like, you could go ahead and take a look at those. Some of the tools that we have available on here, and again, this is the same from just about all the Gale databases on that list that I showed you previously. You can click on Send To if you want to send it to your Google Drive or OneDrive or your email account. You could download it if you wanted to. You can print it out. You could get the link if you wanted to share it with someone. And if you create your own account within this database, you can take highlights and notes to make sure that the things that you want to see are there next time. When you log in, you'll see all of your previous highlights and notes. And it also gives you some recommended reading based on the article that you're reading, more like this, or you could look at related subjects, like if you just wanted to see different articles about chefs, you could do that here. And again, we've got different types of formats: magazine, academic journal, books, news, images, and you can just click on any of those. You do have some additional filters over here on the right, like if you want academic articles about chefs that are peer-reviewed, you can do that, and it will bring it right there for you. So that was just one of the many Gale databases that we have. Again, some of the other ones are basic information on just business essentials, entrepreneurship, and all of these different specific industries that you can search. Now let's go ahead and take a look at one of my favorite categories, eBooks. Not only do we have a very large print collection for the library system, we also have quite a few ebooks as well. These are ones that you can download directly onto your device, or if you want to read them on your computer or laptop, you can do that as well. So I am going to trade it off with Beth, who is going to talk about Overdrive. So here is Miss Beth talking about Overdrive.
Thank you, Amy. So Overdrive is a way to read ebooks, e-audiobooks, and you can do it on your computer, or you can also download the app. Now, if you have any kind of device other than a Kindle, you should be able to download the Libby app. Libby, L-I-B-B-Y, is just a newer version, more streamlined version of Overdrive. It's the same account, same catalog of items. But if you have a Kindle, you would have to download the Overdrive app. It's just the way that works. But if you can also access this from our website, the eLibrary tab, and it's in the list of databases in alphabetical order, but it's also up here at the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and click here. And I just want to point out, it will look slightly different if you're in the app version. Some of these items might be down at the bottom, but this is your bookshelf. This is where you can see what you have checked out, which you can have 10 items checked out at any time and 5 items on hold. And there's a search tab. You can search for a specific title. Once you're in that search tab, you can also go to an advanced search to kind of refine what you want to search. But I'm going to point out here under subjects, if you click on that, it's going to start with the fiction at the top. But let's scroll down to nonfiction so that we can see items specific for small business owners or entrepreneurs. So we have 526 items in the business category, 65 in careers. We've got 57 items in finance. There's marketing and sales, management. I always think this is interesting. There's 4 items for marketing and sales and 2 items for sales and marketing. I want to look at that at some point. There's also a professional category. So these are some of the different categories that might be helpful for you. I'm going to go ahead and click on business. And it's going to pull up different items. And I want to point out, if you can see at the top, there's a white bar at the top of this one pointing out that this book is currently a waitlisted item. So we have it in our collection, but like books on our library shelf, we only have a limited number of copies. So once they're checked out, you can put yourself on hold for it, but it's not available now. You can see here, this book right next to it has a green bar pointing out that it's available. So you could check this out and read it today. You can kind of refine your what you see by over here on the left. You can click on available now so that you can only see the ones that you could check out today if that's what you choose. There's also, I want to show at the underneath here, this one is a book. It has a little book symbol and says ebook. Over here, this one's an audio book. It has a little pair of headphones and the word audiobook. So just those are things to pay attention to if you prefer a specific format over another. And again, you can limit which format in the more advanced search options. So I'm going to go ahead and select one of these titles. For instance, this one is called Next Job, Best Job, and it's available now. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. and it's going to tell me a little bit more. I can actually even read a sample if I want, but there's a description of what the book is. We have one copy of this and it's available now. So I would just click borrow. And then I hit borrow again. And now it's giving me the option. I can read it now with my Kindle, so I can send it to my Kindle if that's what I choose to do. If you do that, it's going to send you to Amazon's page. You'll have to be signed in with your Amazon account and then click on the choice that says Get Library Book. So you're still getting a free library book. It is with your library card, but they're going to direct you to the Kindle page, to the Amazon page. I can download this as an EPUB book. So that would be downloading the book directly to your device, you know, say an iPad or your Android phone. I can also read now in the browser. So if I click on that, so this I would have to be connected to Wi-Fi. So downloading, you don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi, but this will take me directly to the book. So if I just click over here to the right, it's going to bring me to the title page, and then I can just read it from there. There's the table of contents. But if I download this book, then I have the option to, I don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi, and I can read it, you know, from wherever I want to, basically. But say I don't want to read immediately or download it immediately. I want to keep browsing. So I'm just going to X out of here, and I will go back to the search option. I think I was interested in another title, Purple Cow. Oh, it's available now. So I can keep reading from, you know, keep searching from there. But say now I really am ready, now that I've finished browsing, I can just click on my bookshelf here, and this is going to show me my loans. I have this book checked out. So again, I have the option to read it now. I also have the option to return it. Now, this is the great thing about ebooks. You automatically keep them for 14 days. If nobody else is waiting for it, you are given the option to renew it if you would like. But you can never have late fees with ebooks. They'll just automatically disappear after 2 weeks. But with Overdrive Libby, you can only have 10 items checked out at a time. So right now it's saying that I can borrow 9 more titles, and I can have 5 items on hold. So if I'm done with a book and I want to be able to have more things on my bookshelf, or maybe you just know that other people are waiting for this book, you can return it now, and you just click on return right here, and it asks you, are you sure you want to return it? And you can just say yes, and it is removed from your bookshelf. So that can be helpful. We have another ebook database that Amy's going to come over and talk about that works similarly but is a little bit different.
Thank you, Beth. So the other ebook platform that we have is known as Hoopla, and I am going to show you how to access that either on your desktop computer or even as an app, so you can download it wherever you are. What I also like about Hoopla is that it's not just audiobooks or ebooks, it's also streaming music and streaming movies. So if you have a smart TV, you can also download the Hoopla app onto your smart TV, and you can stream movies directly from the app. The one thing to keep in mind with Hoopla is that there is a little bit of a restriction on how many that you can check out each month. You can only check out 7 items per month, period. So do keep that in mind as you're downloading materials. So I'm going to click right here on Hoopla, and it will bring me to the main screen. So what we can do is look for a specific title if we want. I'm going to look up the Purple Cow example that Beth had looked at earlier. And here we have it in audiobook format. We know it's audiobook because it has that little set of headphones right there. I can go ahead and click on that and go ahead and borrow it. Again, download it to your device if you might be somewhere that doesn't have reliable Wi-Fi, or you can listen to it streaming as well. What I also like how this page is set up is it gives us a link to other similar titles. So I can just click here on business and I can see all of the different business audiobooks that they have. So if you have a fairly long commute and you want to listen to some business audiobooks, you've got a whole selection right here, and this is going to keep you occupied for a very long time. Now let's say that we didn't want just audiobooks, that maybe we wanted to also take a look at regular ebooks. We have quite a few suggested ones immediately on the screen, but we can also click on genre and collections, and then under here where it says browse ebooks, we can just click on genres, and we'll wait a moment. And let's see here. Now we can go ahead and click here on business and economics. And this is nice because it will give you a bunch of subcategories. So if you're only interested specific in maybe new business enterprises, you could go ahead, click on that, and they have some ebooks that you can go ahead and access right away. The nice thing about Hoopla is there is no waiting lists. Everybody has access immediately to everything in the collection. But again, the one bad aspect is you can only get seven items a month. So keep that in mind again as you are doing your search. For instance, if I wanted to click right here, starting a business, the quick start guide, there we go. We would have access to that. So thank you all for joining us today for our different ebook resources, database resources, and print resources that we have here at the library, St. Johns County Library System. We are always ready to answer your questions. You can email us directly at sjcpls@tblclibanswers.com. We do also have a lot of social media outlets. We have a Facebook page, SJCPLS, but also SJC Library Vid, where we do have quite a few tutorials located on there, so you could learn just about anything you wanted to learn. But feel free to drop by the main library if you'd like, ask for me or Beth, and we will be happy to help you with whatever research you might need to do for your small business. Thank you all very much for joining us today. Have a great day.